Hello and welcome to this week's Thrive Thursday Masterclass with the Leap for Ladies community. Today I am excited for us to learn from the one and only Katrina Sawa. Katrina is an international best-selling author and a business coach for over 20 years, 23 years, I think you said. And she really helps entrepreneurs get those tactics that are going to help them grow their business with their marketing, their pricing, their systems, the tools they use, and then also really working on using a book as part of your marketing piece, right? So she's got a publishing company. She's published over 150 books, so she can help you with that. But really what she's here to talk to us today about is one of her brilliances, many brilliances, is sales. And so she's going to talk to us today about how to sell without sounding salesy. So we'll let you take it away, Katrina. Thank you for being here and being part of the Leap for Ladies community.
Thank you, Mary. And thanks, you guys. And I'm happy to have this be interactive for those of you who are here live. I do have PowerPoint. I like to get through some of it, but we're a small group, and I know this training lies in the hub, right, where you can all read it and listen in. So hopefully you guys can get stuff out of this. And at the end, I will also, for those of you who are not here live, we talked about some stuff before we started the recording. And I always have some kind of live event. So you always want to just get on my list and come and talk to me. I'm happy to share more. Okay. So the title that I know you have one title, I have a different title. It's all the same talk. But I think people these days don't want to say they're selling or being salesy, so authentic, but it's sales. You have to sell in order to be make money in your business. So, I'm kind of the old school sales and marketing gal, learned from Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy, all the different ways that I used to sell. And I'm going to get into some of that in a minute, but hopefully you're here for insight on how to create your own happiest life and a consistent money-making business. To me, deep down, yes, I teach all the business stuff and the marketing and all the things, but ideally it's so that you can have a happier life. And a happier life to me means love in your life. That's why there's a heart everywhere. And we got to have love for ourselves, love with a significant other, I think. And then we have to have good health. In order to have good health, we have to have time for self-care. We have to have money for supplements and alternative doctors and all the things we all need sometimes. And we have to have freedom for our family and to do all the things we want to do. And so money brings us freedom. So that's why ultimately I focus on the money, because it brings all the rest of it. So hopefully we're on the same page here. And when you have your own business, oftentimes it looks like the roller coaster of cash flow, and it's super scary. One month you're like, I can't pay the rent. And the next month it's like, oh, this is great. I'm going to buy a new car. And then it's insane how sometimes, I swear to God, I'm 23 years into my business, and still today there's roller coastering going on because of the environment, but also sometimes life throws you curveballs. Some of you know that I've had a crazy 7 months with emergency heart surgery for my husband, a fire in our garage, my own gallbladder surgery. It never stops. Sometimes people say, well, Katrina, when I'm ready, I'll come back. Or this isn't a good time, I'll come back in the fall. Or no, there's never a good time to work on your business and get to that next level. You just have to do it now, whenever now is, in my opinion, because there's never a good time. There's always something going to be happening. You're going to need a new air conditioner. You're going to need a new car, new brakes on the car. I mean, you're always going to need something going on. So just do it now, right? And so the key is, how motivated are you to create this kind of lifestyle? Because if you're not motivated, you won't do the things, and you won't do them consistently. You'll do them haphazardly. So we have to get motivated. What's going to make you motivated, right? Is it going to be time, money? Is it going to be an urgency because you're not feeling well? These are getting to the sales skills of what we really need These are them. And you can take a screenshot of this. It's negotiating is at the top of the list, especially these days. A lot of my clients are like, well, I just want to sell this package. I'm like, okay, but be open to negotiating all kinds of different opportunities and offerings and options for people because they might not want to buy that. Right? We want to have maybe 3 or 4 different options, but even then, you might want to be negotiating a little bit around the price point or the bonuses or the payment plan options or whatever that is. You have to be open to negotiation and or do it yourself, frankly, when you're buying stuff, right? Like I'm always negotiating. I love negotiating. Oh my God, it's my favorite thing. I swear to God, I got a vacation membership club. It's not a timeshare, but it's a vacation membership club where I can go anywhere in the world. It's not any particular types of properties. And it was $16,000 when they started, and I got them down to 6,500. And now it took like 3 hours, mind you, and like 6 different people because they had to keep transferring me, right? Because I was like, no, nah, but I was super good. My husband was just watching because he knows. So that is like my favorite thing to negotiate. And people don't even know, like, it, if they like, I quote prices on calls and stuff. And honestly, if you negotiate with me, I think it's fun. I said, okay, well, let's come up with something that works for both of us, you know. So that, I mean, I can't even tell you that the first 2 things are so important. The dancing with concerns, you have to have a comeback for everything. You have to have a comeback or some kind of way to finesse through the conversation, no matter what they say. Oh, my husband said no, or I don't have the money, or not right now, or no, I have to have my child has to have a new implant, or like, good Lord, right? There's all kinds of different excuses people come up with to say no. And we have to be able to dance with those concerns. We don't overcome objections, we dance with concerns, really, in this day and age. So, those are 2 of the most important things. And then one of the other ones I see a lot, especially with women entrepreneurs, is like 5 from the bottom. It's like the 6th one down. Courage to ask for the sale, make offers of invitations. Sometimes the women that I work with they're like, I'm so afraid to be salesy that don't even ask. Like, there's no way. And I'm like, there's no way you're going to be salesy. You can't even spit out the ask. Okay. You're not being salesy. You need to be more assertive. Assertive is the thing we want to be. Not aggressive, not salesy, not sleazy. We want to be assertive with the thing that we know is going to help the person we're talking to, right? Be assertive. And, think of it this way. You're doing them a disservice when you let them off the call or let them out of the offer and you let them go and say no, right? You're doing them a disservice if in fact they really need what you've got and you have a good connection to be able to do that. So, we could go on and on with all of these things, and I'm happy to. I just wanted to share a fun story. So my very first job was at Thrifty's Ice Cream. I don't know if you guys remember Thrifty. Yeah? No, don't remember. I think you have to be like 50 something to remember. I don't know. They're still around, like sometimes in the Rite Aid if you have them. Anyways, like I loved being someone coming for one scoop and like going, are you sure you don't want a second one or a third one? Like, and so I would sell up and I didn't even know that I was selling up, and it wasn't to make more money for the company because I could care less, right? I was an ice cream scooper. I was so passionate about ice cream. I loved ice cream. I was 16, right? Who doesn't at 16. And so it was easy for me to sell this because I loved it. I'm passionate about it, right? And so many flavors. Now there was a couple I didn't like, of course, and I wouldn't sell those. But this is, if you think about all the different places you've been or jobs you've had, when I was a bartender, it was the same thing, selling them up from regular tequila to top shelf tequila. When I was in retail sales, I was like, okay, you came in for this pair of pants, but you need a shirt to go with it. And then you need a necklace and some earrings. And I was always selling people up in that way. And then I went into advertising sales and was just trying to make a sale, frankly, much less selling them up. But I'm still selling them up from a little ad to a big ad, or a 3-time ad to a 12-time ad or something like that. So if you think about it, I mean, this stuff comes, I could do this in my sleep. Now, it doesn't come normal for everybody though, right? So working with someone who can show you how to say it, what to say, how to make it easier for you, even if you didn't grow up like me with all of this experience, right? Make it easier for you. It's so much helpful. I had a client say the other day, she's like, I am so glad I can call you or text you or voicemail you and you'll tell me what to say right away on the thing, like for whatever it is. She's like, it has made a huge difference in her being able to manage conversations throughout her week, right? So, um, where should you focus more on sales? So there's 5 areas that I typically talk with clients, and it's the pricing. I tried to fit it in. Where'd it go? I tried to fit it into FOCUS. I'm not never been really good with acronyms. I'm not known for acronyms. I'm known for selling. Okay. So I tried like fair pricing. First of all, fair pricing. Well, that's bullshit. I like value pricing. Okay. So I've I don't really teach the focus anymore, but I love this presentation. So value pricing is even better, okay? Because we're going to talk about low end versus high end pricing, high ticket, easy yes offers, signature talk prices. We got to have a few different options usually as a coach, consultant, author, speaker, right? But pricing is the key. A lot of times, I'd say 99% of the time, when I talked with a new client or even a prospect and they tell me what they're charging for whatever it is, I always think it's too low, right? And I probably did that to you, Mary Gall, right? And I do that almost every week to somebody, whether they're paying me or not, because I'm like, "Ooh, you could do that better. Like you could focus on more." Because people just don't see the value. Sometimes they don't believe in themselves enough or have the confidence, and that's more worth. But sometimes they don't see the value, which is the value in the marketplace. And so they just need to be shown the way to price things differently. And then they're like, oh, okay, I see now how this is worth 3 times as much or whatever. So pricing is a dancing thing too, because sometimes you got to try something out and change it. You got to test things. And so, but I'm usually pretty good at nailing the price of something when I'm talking to somebody because I've been around the block a few times, right? So pricing is that thing that you always want to keep checking in on to see if you could go a little higher. Okay. Then positioning. Outrageous positioning is good. It's more memorable, right? So you want to be memorable. You want to position yourself as an expert and in a lot of different ways. So that could be with a book. Yeah, we talked about books earlier. But it also could be with maybe you have been featured on a TV show or a talk show or something, and you put that video prominently on your website. It makes a difference what your website looks like and your social media and all your graphics, what they all look like, right? Please do not try to do your own website and your own graphics, because it just looks like you do your own web. Like even some web designers that try to do their own website fail, like because they can't see their own thing. So it's just, you got to be careful with that. And I've got great web designers. If you need referrals, let me know. But that's not something to DIY, is because it messes with your positioning, your credibility, and your authority. And that can take a lot longer to make a lot more money then. The packaging. So the packaging is like, let's not just sell three sessions, 12 sessions, or 24 sessions, please, because nobody wants sessions. They want to know the solution, the result, the formula, the framework, the etc. They want to buy something like that. So we have to figure out what that is, and be open to the evolution of that along the way in your business, because it will change, right? Whatever I was doing back in 2002 when I started, I am not doing now. Okay. Like I can tell you that. And I don't look the same. I don't have the same logo or messaging or any of that. So be open to that evolution, but make sure you're packaging in a way that equals the positioning and the price points that you want. And then it's promoting, right? So we have to promote ourselves. That's making the ask. That's not just posting on social. That's not enough. That's not enough. these days because most of it doesn't get seen. So assume your social media is not going to get seen. You're there because if someone looks you up, at least they'll see your stuff there. Um, Assume that, not a lot of people listen to your podcasts or whatever. I mean, maybe have downloads and all that, but you got to be in a lot of different places than we used to, let's face it, because of so much on the internet now. And so it's overwhelming. And you don't have to necessarily be on all the socials and be in all the places. You can focus on a few different things, but you got to really own those spaces if you do, right? And so having that good plan, that action plan to make sure you're consistently everywhere in those spaces that you should be or want to be is critical. And a lot of time that means you need systems, automation, and team members or one or two, right? So because you're not going to be able to do, there's no humanly way possible to do all of this ourselves in this day and age. It's not. And if you try to do it it's just going to burn you out, I think, in my opinion. I've seen it too many times. And then finally, there's simplified profiting. And that could be, okay, reducing some expenses though, too. It could be simplifying what you're selling. I've being in business 23 years, I've had, I don't even know how many products, programs, and trainings and offerings. I've probably sold at least, I'm going to guess, like 80 to 90 different things. 80 to 90 different things over 23 years, like honestly, which is insane, you know? But I had to evolve as I gone and I learned new things. And so I up leveled, right? And so I think just whatever you do, keeping it simplified is the key. That doesn't mean it's like niche down into just this one little thing. It can be more than one niche, but I think it's important to simplify some of those things for sure. And I'm very frugal. Now I will spend $30,000 on an annual mastermind. I've done that many, 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 many times. Okay. I will spend a good amount of money on certain things. I've spent 10 grand on liposuction even, right? Like what matters most to me, I will invest in, but I'm also very frugal and some things I don't want to spend a lot of money in. And so I watch my pennies in some areas and it's not that I am lavishly investing in other areas, but I'm just very selective. So some people lavishly invest in everything, and it's not necessarily a good plan. I had a mentor once who kept almost forcing us to spend a lot more money than we all had to up level our own positioning, but we weren't quite ready for that yet, if you know what I mean. And so it wasn't the smartest plan for her to do. She thought it was. Looking back on it, I wish I hadn't, right? Because it spent a lot of money that it wasn't my level yet, right? Anyways, it's a long story, but these are some of the things. So hopefully this is helpful and hopefully you can get rid of saying I can't afford it, I can't do it, I can't whatever. I do everything based on this. This is my life. I have fun and family and my hubby and my daughter. And then I do events and retreats and I do speaking and then I run my women's group. I mean, this is what makes me happy. And this is where I want more freedom to do more of this. And so if I did nothing else, I don't have a big bucket list, but this is why I do what I do. And so you have, your slide with your 9 pictures or whatever it is on it. And that is what should be, this is our vision, right? This is the big vision. And so this is just, I have to think about it every time that, I get off. My dog is, I thank God for my dog, my new dog. She's more of a border collie German shepherd and she herds me now. She's a herder. Border collies are herders. And she herds me. If I'm not out of the office by 5 o'clock, she comes over like every 10 minutes and whines at me and goes, like, right. So now I have a herder to get me out of the office, which is kind of cool. I don't know, like if you need that too, but yeah, I have lots of publicity. I've been on TV probably 18 times. I've written 4 of my own books and 18 compilation books I've been a part of. I've been on probably 200 podcasts and been on magazine covers and all the things. And the simpler I can make it, I tell you, the better off my life is. So the more I do all those things, the more I'm like, wah, wah. I just want to hang out with amazing women and drink wine and talk business. I like that. It's my thing. So I think it's important to know who you follow and who like I've followed a couple people that I don't think we matched values because they didn't, they were kind of shifty in the front, but I didn't know they were shifty, that kind of thing. So I'm like, what you see is what you get. I'm all about having faith, being love, and having commitment and no excuses, and believing that it'll all work out in the end, believing in myself and that kind of thing. So if that resonates, love to have a call with you. Uh, and roadblocks, like I was saying earlier, there's never a good time, right? There's always going to be something in your way to hold you back from taking your next step to your next level. And you just have to say, screw it. I'm going to have life anyways. I'm just going to keep doing it. You have to be that motivation, and that drive has to be there to find a way anyway, right? There's always a way. So like, have you guys been thinking, are you charging enough to value yourself and hit your money goals? Because lots of people are not hitting their money goals. And I think it's because they're not selling enough of what they need to sell in order to make the goal, right? And you might have to do things a little bit differently to get different results, right? These are 5 levels of offerings that I typically talk through with clients as well. Number 1 is the freebie. We all know we need freebies to get people into our world and onto our list and, in our funnels and all that kind of thing. And I say multiple freebies. I have probably 6 out there right now that are visible, and probably another 10 behind the scenes that I can throw into Zoom rooms or whatever if I need to, if something applies. Then there's the easy yes offer, or try me out. That is the thing that when you're on a sales conversation, or when you're on even when a speaking gig like this, you want to make a low offer just to get someone to try you out. People like where it's easy for them to say, okay, here's my credit card. I'm willing to invest, it's usually a couple $100 or less is what I usually do an easy yes offer for. But that's not where we start in a sales conversation. That's where we end before they leave the call. If they don't buy anything and they say no to all the things, then it's like, well, at least let's get started somewhere and do this, right? And that's usually, it's not a monthly thing either. It's just a one-time, try me out kind of thing. And then there's the do it yourself, which is, you've got your online trainings and your courses and other things that people can consume without, access to you. And then the I'm all in one-on-one. A lot of people avoid one-on-one because they think, oh, it's going to take too much time. I need to make some money. Well, then charge more for your one-on-one. Your one-on-one should be the highest thing that you offer because it's the highest access to whatever it is you do. And too many people aren't charging for that in their one-on-one. So therefore they avoid a lot of one-on-one and they try to get groups, but it's much easier, in my opinion, to get 5 one-on-one clients than it is to get 50 people in a group. Like, it's so much easier, but people don't see how to do that. And so that's what I love to help change mindsets around and change strategies, because it can be easier to do one-on-one. I love doing one-on-one, and I actually have one-on-one for a year with unlimited access. You'd think, oh my God, you're insane. I'm like, no, most people don't book more than 1 call a week, maybe even 3 a month. I think I can handle that, especially at the right value pricing, right? Value pricing is the key for that kind of stuff. The whole enchilada is like, you buy the one big thing and then everything else is free. Like, it's all included, right? I love that kind of price, because then I don't have to worry about nickel and diming people for this and getting $97 for that and upselling them to this and this. I like value pricing because it makes my life easier and theirs, and I can just have a whatever long payment plan and we don't have to worry about it. We can just get to work. Was there anything you guys wanted to say? Because you unmuted.
I did. I have a question about presenting these things. So the freebie obviously gets people onto a call with you, right? And then you've got level 2 through 5, and so Do
Do it
you,
in the opposite order.
yeah, I was gonna say, you start with the whole enchilada and then work your way down to the easy out,
Correct.
easy, here's the minimum, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
you start with the highest one that is the right offer for the person. Obviously, you don't start with the highest one just because it's your highest one, but you start with the
Right,
highest one that is the best offer for them. Like, because you don't want to do them a disservice and just offer
right.
them a little thing when they really need the big thing, right? So you
Yeah.
start high, I would say start high, go low. So you start with the
Mhm.
highest thing and you work through concerns and all that kind of thing and get creative and negotiate whatever you need to try to make that work because that's the best solution, right? It's not because we're trying to make the most money, it's because it's the best solution for the person you're talking to. So a lot of times they just can't fathom doing that big thing, whatever it is, if it's a high price or a long term. At one point I was selling 3-year commitments to my Live Big Mastermind, and people, but usually I did it from a live event where I had them for 3 days, right? I was with them for 3 days. And then by that time, they figure out, okay, she knows all the stuff about all the stuff. I'm just going to go for 3 years with her and we're going to get it all done. Because I made a good case during that time that it takes some time. You can't do everything we do in 3 years in even a year sometimes with life getting in the way. So in that regards, it was a big price tag, but I had a 36 monthly payment plan. So it made it very much easier. And it was actually cheaper than if they bought short term where they had to pay more at a time. And so it made it more affordable. So, I mean, think about it, right? Think about what people really need. I know most people work with me for anywhere from 2 to 7 years on average. And so why not give them a deal to sign up right away? Now, then you back down. If they're not even willing to do a year or whatever your biggest package is, okay, well, I've got this signature thing. It's some one on one in group or whatever it is, right? And it's a good meaty middle kind of a price tag is what you might go next, right? And then that one sounds like amazing and affordable and better price because if it's a price objection, they'll be like, ooh, that one sounds better. But if you started with that one and then tried to go up, they'd be like, oh, no, 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 I want to stay here, right? So, and then it's obviously whatever you can get them to try you out if you can't do that in the middle. That's what I usually suggest. But again, you don't want to make a whole bunch of offers in a call. So you make an offer and then you shut up and then you work through it. And then if it really doesn't work, then you say, okay, the secondary thing would be this, right? And then you da da da. You don't go, I have this, or this. Which one do you want? Ah, no, two max at a time, this or that, right? So yeah, good question. So I think I've kind of made my point to where if you're selling something for 200, if you're trying to make $10,000 a month, and you're selling something for 2,000 or I'm sorry, $250, then $250, you have to do 40, right? Yeah, is the number. Yeah, you have to sell 40 things at $250, which it's not easy to make 40 sales in a month. Even with an online thing with a promo and a really good sales page, unless you have tens and tens of thousands of people on your list or in your following that are actually looking at the thing or they're coming to your whatever, it's not as easy as people think. I'd much rather have someone have a $1,500 offer where you only need like 8 or 7 or whatever the number is, or 5,000. And even at 5,000, someone might need a payment plan. So you're going to need, probably 4 people at 5,000 to make your 10,000 in a month or something like that. So you got to think about these things when you're pricing and packaging your offerings so that you can hit that money goal is the key. So there's all kinds of combinations. You could sell a combination of all kinds of things, of course. Um, I was going to share a few stories too. So after working with Katrina, I see that I can. What's crazy about Shauna is she is so freaking talented that she was working like 70 hours a week in her job that was paying her 125,000 a year. If you do the math, that's not that much money. Like right, for 70 hours. But she was gaining weight, she was unhealthy, she was eating bad, and she didn't have time for her family and her friends. I'm like, no life, no happiness. Boo, right? But she wouldn't let go of the 125,000. She was so scared to leave it. I'm like, but you just get a little bit of time to ramp up with your 40-hour work week in your business. Now she's, it took her having to leave her job and her husband and leave the state to where they went up to northern Idaho and out in the sticks, right? They live in the sticks. All of a sudden, she's like, "Oh, I'm missing life," and I'm like, "Thank God," right? And so she's ramping up her career coaching business, and she's having a killing right now. So it's crazy. So the easy yes offer. People always say, "Well, what can I sell for an easy yes offer?" These are some examples. Um, One of the things I love for, like, I've had a couple, like I bought, no, I didn't buy my bookkeeper. I hired my current bookkeeper at an event where she stood up and did an easy yes offer. I don't think she knew she was doing an easy yes offer like this, but she was probably looking to ramp up her bookkeeping. And she said 4 hours of bookkeeping for $100, and you can try me out and la la la, right? And I said sold, and I brought out my checkbook. This is how long it was, and I wrote her $100 check and gave it to her, and then went home and gave all her stuff. Do you think I want to get that stuff back? Mm-mm. No. Do you think I want to try to find another bookkeeper? No, no. She's had me ever since because of that easy yes offer. It's not her regular price. Now I pay her like $225 a month plus tax stuff and CPA work and all the things, right? So it can really work. It works for my virtual assistant client too. She was a virtual assistant, came to my event, couldn't afford to come to the event, borrowed $1,000 from her parents so she could have the hotel and the flight. And then we did an easy yes offer example at my event, and she sold $1,100 worth of easy yes offers, and she could immediately pay back her mom. And then she came back to the next event and doubled her that offer because it was too low, right? And sold another. It was so good. It was so good. It's so easy. It's just I have asterisks by the 4 week though, because an easy yes offer is something one time. It's not really meant for a big group commitment, long term thing. So those are some ideas. Oops. This is the virtual assistant who came to my event, Angela, and exactly what I just said. So she has long-term clients actually still from that first event that she still has from probably 10 years ago. And then Heather wanted to start a mastermind, a high-end mastermind. And she wanted to charge $5,000. And I said, "Oh, you could do more than that. 5,000 is very low." But she did. She charged $5,000, and she was motivated. She was on the phone. She was doing all the things, and she sold 5 people in 30 days into a $5,000 mastermind. Now, she worked with me for like 3 years, but within 6 months of her starting that mastermind, I got her up to 7,500 for the mastermind. So, and then by the time it rolled around for another year, she was at 12,500 for the price of a mastermind. Same mastermind. It was a confidence level. It was a confidence level, and she had to do it a few times. And that's sometimes what makes the pricing difference, is only your confidence. It's not the different content, it's your confidence. So that's how she progressed with her mastermind, and she's amazing and still doing great. So here's some fun things you can throw into a high-end program. And you can take any combination of it or throw it all in, right? So you could do one-on-one calls or a VIP day. You could do a group retreat or a trip, a group training, mastermind, or Q&A calls throughout the month, an online community or forum where they can all talk and get feedback from each other, pre-recorded trainings or courses. If you have a bunch of recordings of stuff, throw it all in the thing. It's extra added value. Email or text access or materials reviews. And nowadays you can do it on Slack. You can do it in different places, so they don't have to have your cell, but they can do it in Facebook groups. I've always done mine in Facebook groups just because it's easy. But there's so many other softwares these days that make it easy for groups to connect. I'm in one right now, actually. I'm in another women's group, and they do everything in Circle, which is a membership platform. And so I personally don't recommend paying for more platforms like this until you know it's going to sell. So, like, just use Facebook and just use your website for now and your email. And then once you get a certain number of people, then maybe go and transition it into, because I've done it before where I've paid for the platform, $72 a month, and I've paid for my assistant to load 1,000 trainings into a customer hub, like a membership hub, and 2 people bought ever, like, for the paid thing. That's it. And there's balloons flying in my ear, but that's not a
Love
good
the
thing.
celebration of the 2 people,
Is that a
right?
celebration? Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
No, 2 people does not make a good
right. No
program. Now,
balloons for 2 people. Yeah.
I had lots of free people in this membership, but the ones that got access to the customer hub where I put all the things and I spent probably 10 grand to put it all in there, 2 at $50 a month. That was not good. Now that was a low end, but book swags, gifts, templates. I love sending off like new client packages, like a box with books and swag or other things that I might have, or workbooks from previous events and stuff like that. And then exposure opportunities. You know, you can go take your clients and you can go live with them. You can give them speaking opportunities on your virtual or in-person events. You can shout out on social for your clients and promote their stuff and their emails. And there's a lot of things you can do to add a value to a high-end program. And some people just don't see it, right? Each one of these could be worth $3,000 in value. And the one-on-one is way more, right? So if you add it all up, it could be a really great value. Any questions on this kind of stuff?
Nope. Great reminders of all the things we already have. Most of us probably already have most of those
Yeah.
features, right? Just how to pull it all together.
Okay, cool. Mary had to leave. And we could brainstorm what you can sell if you're interested. One thing, that I want to say too is always be booking more sales conversations. You always have to keep that pipeline full, right? You can speak and do things like we're doing here. You can do your own master classes. You can put your own webinars on the calendar. I have a coffee chat that I do almost every Tuesday to people that are on my list. It's like at 9 a.m. Pacific. And any of you are welcome to get on the list. I can't do it I can do it most days in June, but I threw that on the calendar because most people just need to experience you. And whether it's a casual coffee chat or it's a webinar or training, or you're speaking on someone else's stage, or you're networking with them and talking personal stuff, most people just need to experience us and in some way, somehow, in order to take that next step to a sales conversation or to get the freebie or to get on a workshop or whatever it is. So you got to do all the things to catch people in different places, because some people are reading, some people are watching, that kind of thing. And this is a cool slide. And so when I talked about this or that close, when you have 2 really good options at 2 totally different prices or learning styles, like, one's one-on-one, one's group. And that's where you start the conversation. Hey, I have 2 options. So it's really good. I love talking through all of these with clients. And so I'm really good at talking you through these so that it's so much more natural for you to hold that conversation and or do something at the end of a webinar or a presentation. But we have to have this knowledge. I would say every entrepreneur needs to understand these 8 strategies, and you have to know them off the top of your head, when to bring them in, when to do this, when to that. And you kind of just have to have them in your hip pocket. Oh, I'm bringing this one out right now. I'm bringing that one out right now. And so it is good to continually hone your sales and marketing skills, right? So I know we don't have a lot of time to go into those, but I do that at my events if you want to come. And please, yes, you're going to be uncomfortable a lot of this until it gets more normal. And this is just a fun quote. When you're committed to something, you accept no excuses, only results. So when you're interested, you do it only when it's convenient, right? There's a lot of entrepreneurs that do their business when it's convenient. And I want to talk to the people that are want to do it because they're committed. So that's, you have to want it. You have to want, I love this picture. You have to want it. Your heart's on fire for more and helping more people, right? And then of course, dog love. No, like, you want a bigger life. These are things that are important to me. Love life, dating nights, dating is right on top, right, Whitney? Like, we got to keep the love alive or find some love. Self-care, family time, travel, giving back, helping thousands, leaving a legacy, and dog love. More of this can happen, the more money you make and the more impact you make. And so we have to focus on the money. We can't just avoid it, or we can't just settle. I really think these are the things. So if any of you are interested, that's not the right slide, actually. Okay, this is the right slide. I do a lot of different things to help people get to the next level. There's 4 options. That's too many options. I know you're confused, but I like to make it easy and different learning styles. There's things for people that want to do it themselves, go to the online training site. There's somebody who needs my advice every month. That's the mentorship, right? Someone who just wants a little spot coaching right now on something. That's the deep dive. Someone who wants to experience it for 3 days. That's the event in September. So like it's good to have offerings for different learning styles, because there will be people in your world that want to experience you in different ways. And some people that I have one client who has 5 kids. She's widowed. She's not coming to my event, right? And even if she's just in Southern California, she can't. So we're working together one-on-one. So, I mean, there's just all these things. If you don't have an offer for someone in a different learning style, you're not going to get that person. You're not going to be able to help them, right? So you guys can sign up at askcat.biz if you want to chat, but there you go.
Okay. Well, I want to make sure, because we're recording this at the end of May, so people have a chance to listen to it and hear it. So tell people about your upcoming events. So you have one in September, that one that you just mentioned, for $197.
Mm-hmm.
So where they can find that out on your website?
Well,
or where can they find information about that?
Soon it will be on my website. I'm
Okay.
on the web pages right now. I just got inspired to do that and pick the date, and it's going to be here near me in Sacramento. So
Perfect.
in the greater Sacramento area. So you'd fly in there. It's totally worth flying in for. I've been doing events since 2008, and
Yes.
I used to do three-day workshops every year before COVID, and then I've done some virtual ones since then, but nothing is like in person. Nothing.
Right.
Nothing is like in person. And I've done some retreats since then. They've been very small. I know you've been to one, but like,
Yeah.
I want to workshop 50 people. That's it. So it's going to be for sale for $297, but I will give coupon links to all of the women's groups that I'm in. So you guys
Yeah.
can for $197. It's about owning your worth, speaking with power, and selling with confidence. So those
Nice.
are the things: owning your worth, speaking with power, whether it's from stage one-on-one or to yourself, and selling with confidence and being able to troubleshoot all the different things and doing it authentically and naturally so it doesn't seem salesy. And
Right.
so we're going to rewrite money stories and speak about your business clearly. We're going to probably reprice and package a lot of people's stuff. We're going to get them, to those higher ticket conversations. We're going to show them how to get more of those, build visibility and momentum. It's all about those areas, the pricing,
Yeah.
the positioning, yeah.
And having been to one of Katrina's events, it is all of that, right? You get so much value and so much information. And she meets you where you are, wherever you are in that stage of your business and that confidence level, right? So she can help encourage you to keep growing and be able to serve at a higher level to your clients and what they need, right? So I love that about you, Katrina. Okay, well, that wraps up our time. I think the other Mary had to hop off at the top of the hour. So thank you so much, Katrina. Like I said, we'll be able to get this out to everyone. If you're watching this and you're not a LEAP member and you want to be able to do these Thrive Thursday Masterclasses to build visibility in your business, please do that. You can find out all the information about joining Leap for Ladies under Success Magnified, Join Leap for Ladies. We'll put the link in as well. And we have all of Katrina's contact information in the notes below the recording so that you can reach out to her and find out all of the amazing things that she offers and the ways to work with her. So thank you again for sharing all this knowledge. I took a full page of notes and I grabbed a couple screenshots. So lots of great information as always, Katrina.
Thanks, Mary.
Yes. Okay. Thanks so much. Thanks, Whitney, for hosting us. Have a great weekend, everybody.
You too.
Bye.
Okay. Bye.